Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, everybody. Some of you I see, some of you are little pictures of themselves. Welcome to this 1 hour workshop, which I've titled on some inspired late night evening of writing. It takes a village to raise a freelance business. And I'm so incredibly happy that you are all here today, because also for a workshop, we need a village for making it happen. I already got my two magicians here for the technical assistants and organizing team, and of course, participants. So thank you. And I'm going to do sometimes my sort of magical hand sign to go to the next slide, because Heidi's managing that magic. My name is Tessa Goossens. I'm speaking to you from the city of Brussels. Yeah, thank you. I'm a facilitator. I'm a clown also, and I'm the founder of Playful Situations. And Playful Situations is a place where I develop and guide creative playgrounds. Could be for teams, could be for personal development, and also mainly in Dutch and French. So yeah, I'm going to do my best with my magical English today, but please bear with me and be gentle for me. And those creative playgrounds for team and personal development, I do that with techniques such as storytelling, the art of telling beautiful stories, clowning, so the real red nose, I haven't got it around me here, but clowning with the wig and all, improvisation theater, creative writing. I write a lot, as you see on the picture. Me with my stift and my little notebooks is one of my favorite places to be. I use also a lot of meditation and focusing, and techniques also such as deep democracy and appreciative inquiry. Magical hand sign. The prompt, the journal prompt, in fact, for this workshop today is it takes a village to raise a freelance business, to create, if you would like, a freelance business. And so on that evening of creative lightning, where I wrote down this prompt, my aim, in fact, was to create this 1 hour workshop where we create a space to slow down, to focus altogether, which is a sort of peculiar space in time for reflection, just for being with all of you, to write, and also to sense what this title could mean for you. And so that's why I asked you, and Heidi also, to keep your pen and paper close by you. So when maybe an image or a phrase or a word comes up, write it down and never mind my words and go and keep going in your writing flow. And I'm aware of the fact that maybe some of you thought you were coming to a TED Talk, sort of TED Talk kind of thing where I would be giving you the 15 golden tips for success and creating the village that will provide for you and your freelance business. And I'm so sorry, but if this is the case, I invite you to put those expectations in a little envelope and maybe put it for this now 55 minutes somewhere behind your desk. And maybe let yourself be surprised with what is coming, with what is coming upon or through you, through the writing. So yeah, that's my proposal for you today. No glorification of the hustling and play hard, work hard kind of thing, but a sort of celebration of the whole entity that surrounds you as a freelancer, and therefore also is in you, and you're always carrying it with you. And so very shortly, I'm going to tell you something about the inhabitants of my own village, the inhabitants that make it possible for me of having a freelance business. And then I'm going to invite you to go and meet your own. And maybe at the end of this session, I would hope so, really much, that we would have the time to share and to connect a little nugget of wisdom, something you dug up from the sands of your own journaling. I would definitely like that. So, dear darlings, make yourself comfortable. Magical, yeah. Hand sign. And so it takes a village to raise a freelance business. It takes a village to raise a freelance business. It takes a village to raise a freelance business. I sat down and I asked myself, who were all those inhabitants of my inner village yesterday that made it possible for me to do the work, all the work in playful situations? And I thought, well, luckily at 10 o'clock, my inner secretary and accountant team finally kicked in after a long holiday, and they cleaned up the pile of administration other villagers of mine were trying to ignore it. And God, I was relieved that my secretary and accountant team was there. And at 11 o'clock, my inner child put her finger in the air and said, come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's go and play in the park. Let's go. And I listened to her with her finger in the air. And I was so incredibly pleased to take a little walk in the park nearby. And after a brisk walk in the park, I called my inner content manager and I said, could you write a sort of dazzling Instagram and LinkedIn post that would cleverly refer to my latest blog post I wrote? And so my inner content manager did. And around 3 o'clock, my inner grandmother started shouting that it was time for tea and biscuits. And such a wise lady she is. And so I did. And I was so thankful for her. And later on, my inner team coach kicked in and shouted, come on, Tessa, don't give up and go, 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 continue. And when my inner team coach lost some punch, my severe inner father spoke firmly to me and said, Tessa, no gain without suffering. And so in only one day, I got visits from my inner secretary, a philosopher, my inner accountant, my own well-being manager, a whole school village playground of inner children, fathers, mothers, sister, team coaches, critics, artists, hermits, optimists, even sometimes the occasional showgirl. And some of those villagers helped me, but some also really confused me. Some even hurt me, and some tired me. But they were all there with me for this day, one day in the life of Tessa in playful situations. And they all try to pass me some information, wanted, unwanted. And I tried to listen again and again and again till every villager with his hand up told me what they needed to tell me. And I was so grateful to be surrounded by a whole village of wise women and men. And so, dear fellow freelancers or almost freelancers, I would like you to invite you to take your notebook and your pen. And maybe some of you already are accustomed to journaling, to some automatic writing. And yeah, thank you. That was the magical handshake. And I am going to ask you some questions and that refer to what I've just told you very shortly. And just see what comes out of your pen. It's sort of journaling for me is a searching through writing. You don't necessarily already need to have found it to write it down, but write everything that comes up. And so questions that I have for you are, if you think about your own inner village at this moment as a freelancer, how is that inner village looking like for the moment? Huh? When you think about a day in your typical freelancer's week, huh? Who were the villagers that at that moment were governing you, the village in your personal life and in your business, and were they the same villagers? Were the ones who were ruling your personal life the same as your business? And while you're writing, you can ask yourself, and are those villagers living there for a long time now? Are they familiar personages or people, villagers I've just met for now? And sometimes when I think about all those characters, there are also always some villagers in me that I would like to send to the forest instead of loudly coordinating the center of my village. So who would you like, maybe, would you prefer to send to the forest? And then who in your inner village hasn't got the place it needs for this moment, for the moment? Maybe in spite of him or her, or but who would like to, who is screaming, or maybe just with a little finger in the air, asking for more place or time. And I'm going to give you some time to write all of that down. Maybe some of you feel more comfortable in drawing. Could be possible too. Huh? That you draw a sort of map of your inner village, of all those people who are inhabiting it in your day-to-day. And don't be afraid to follow your pen. It's not a time for selection, but just a time for letting the words flow. The villagers in your inner village. I'm going to give you 1 more minute. And know that you can always come back to this exercise if you would like to write it down a little bit more. This is the moment where you can lay your pen down and stroll with your eyes maybe over the words and sentences you wrote. And this is also a moment where I would be so happy to be next to you, so that I would see what crazy or villagers are living in the island of your freelance business. And after this writing exercise, I would like you to invite you to make yourself comfortable. Now we're going to take a little body scan. And we're going to explore another question in relationship to this inner village. So yeah, first of all, look for a place on your chair where you're sitting well. So relaxed, but also alert and not asleep, but up. And if you feel that it's better to go on another spot, it's the moment to do so. And settle in here in the moment with your feet straight on the ground, your hands somewhere where it feels comfortable. Maybe they're inside your lap, open or closed. Just try to settle in and feel what's comfortable. And before we go to the body, listen to your breath. Take a deep inhale and exhale through your mouth. Another deep inhale. Exhale. Now one last time, inhale. And exhale. Slowly arriving here on your chair. Now we're going to draw our attention first to our feet. And bring your whole attention to the soles of your feet, your toes, ankles, and bring all your attention to the ankles. And then to the calves, front of your leg, your knees, and then bring all your attention to the upper legs and the thighs. To your bottom, the hips, without changing anything, just noticing and bringing your attention to that place. And then we go to the belly, place of a lot of emotions. And just bring our attention there. Go to the hands and feel every finger with our attention. And don't forget to breathe. Then our underarms, our elbows, the upper arms. And then we bring all our attention to our shoulders. The shoulders that hold through the day. And we bring also our attention to our back, our under back, and upper back. Often a place with a lot of tension. And we notice what is there. We slowly walk up through our neck, behind of our neck, behind of our head. We bring our attention to the front of our face, to our eyes, our nose, our mouth. And we come down in our throat. And we gave every part, a lot of parts of our body, the attention. And in this state of listening and attention, I have a question for you that you can let and resonate through you in this state of full attention. And the question for you is, on whose shoulders are you standing today? And who is holding the village together with you? Of your business, of your life? But who helped you to be where you are now? And see where you feel that question in your body, maybe. And on whose shoulders are you standing, consciously or unconsciously? And if as me, your eyes were closed during the body scan, you can slowly come back to the place where we live with our eyes open, but still with the attention inwards. And I'm going to invite you to take your notebook, as we did on later. And write down what comes up when you hear that question of on whose shoulders are you standing? Maybe as an inspiration, an inspirational shoulder. Maybe actual actors in your life. Maybe you're standing on the shoulders of some ancestors as a freelancer. Maybe your family, your friends, people you know from a distance, online, offline, from the near past or really far past. And take your pen and write those names down. Maybe you don't know the name of that person, and maybe it's just the woman who always gave me candy on Sunday afternoon. Could be too. But write down the people that come up. I'm going to give you some minutes to write all that down. And don't try to shift or already say, oh no, don't make it a mental selection, but maybe surprise yourself with the names that are coming up. Maybe there are shoulders on who you like to stand and other shoulders you would rather not be standing on. That's a possibility too. And while you are writing those names, maybe you can take a look at all the inhabitants of your inner island you wrote down. And maybe there are some links. Maybe you see some connections. And maybe the fearless fighter on your island, you learned it from your aunt, who even in difficult times always fought for what was important. And she's one of the person on whose shoulders you're standing. So connect with each other what needs to be connected. Maybe you draw it. While I'm telling you these words and these questions, I see a sort of tree. Huh? That you can maybe draw some lines from the inhabitants to your inspiration and see what comes up. Maybe also in the connection of things, something new is emerging. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to connect those names and those villagers and maybe other things that comes up after this writing and this body scan. And maybe if you see some connections, you can write the connection down. Sort of, I got this from, right? This villager gifted me this. This ancestor passed this to me. And maybe some things are just something you build up all by yourself. By growing, by learning, by life. So maybe some things are just you. Now I would like to invite you to maybe look at all what you've wrote down. You can always come back to this exercise later if you feel in a sort of flow. And try to write down or maybe think. Maybe writing is not your thing, but you're thinking the words. Huh? for what would you like to thank your village for? Your inner village, but also your outer surrounded past and present village. The shoulders, the tree on which you are standing. Yeah, for what would you like to thank your village? Well, this is where the encounter of our villages ends for today. I hope this was a sort of a soft space in which you found the time to explore maybe the inner and the outer world of you as a person, as your business, on a sort of a very free and flowing manner, all while acknowledging and honoring all the villagers that are in us and surround us and the shoulders we are standing upon. And so I'm very curious because, of course, this is such a weird thing sometimes. I feel while ending a workshop together with a group, you shared some moments. Maybe if you would like to share some thoughts on what you wrote, or you have some questions, please don't hesitate to send me a little message through Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever. I would be honored to read your stories or questions. So thank you very much for this time together. And then I'll send you into this day with light in your village. Yes.
Thank you so much, Tessa, for a wonderful session. I would also love to encourage everybody who participated to fill out a short survey on this session. I've just shared the link for the survey in the chat with all of you. Thank you very much for participating and have a lovely day.